So manzu have too many tiles.
Manzu have too many tiles because each block should ideally have 3 tiles. So that's one of the principles of the 5-block method. So I hear 8 man, 5 pin,
2 man.
2 man.
We can get Sanshoku.
Why are you laughing?
8 man is better because we can get Sanshoku.
Yeah, exactly.
Possibly.
Exactly. Yeah, so the choice is between, so 5 pin is actually crucial. You should keep 5 pin. Because if you draw 4 pin, then discard 3 pins and make this the head, right? So 5 pin should be kept. The real choice here is between 2 man and 8 man, right? And as Marek said, we should keep 8 man because there is a possibility of getting Sanshoku 6, 7, 8, right? So 8 is better than 2, so 2 should go, right? So when you have a sufficient number of blocks, one principle that you can rely on is that each block should have at most 3 tiles. And block in manzu has 4 tiles, so you should cut 1, right? And here you should cut 2, right? So this is just a summary of the 5-block method. So I think probably the most important part of my first book is the 5-block method. I think that's the most useful part of the book. So if you haven't read the book, at least please read at least that chapter on the 5-block method, where I talk about a lot of other principles that you can use to identify blocks or how to compare floating tiles. I'm listing up a few important principles. Right, when there are 4 blocks, we're going to compare floating tiles, then choose the least versatile tile, right? The ones that are closer to the terminals. When there are 6 blocks, 1 too many blocks, then choose the weakest block to discard. When there are 5 blocks, then make sure that each block has at most 3 tiles, right? So I thought maybe we can take a break, coffee break, because I'm happy to keep talking, but I think having to listen to someone's lecture for 2 straight hours is a bit like a torture. So maybe let's take 5-minute break.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's do part 2 or section 3, advanced tile efficiency. So we're gonna keep talking about tile efficiency, but I'm gonna introduce some of the new things. So what we have done so far are primarily a review, but now I'm going to introduce several new topics. I'll talk a lot more about advanced tile efficiency in the book, but for today we'll talk about 3 topics: 6-block theory, and what's called sakigiri, and a choice between the head and a run. So now we're going to do the 6-block method. So there is such a thing called the 6-block method, right, as opposed to the 5-block method, right? But the thing is that most of the time you should just stick with the 5-block method rather than the 6-block method. But it also means that there are also situations where, exceptional situations where you might want to rely on the 6-block method. So I'm going to start with the 5-block method and see why most of the time it is better to stick with the 5-block method first. And then we're going to move on to exceptional situations and see in what kind of situations would we rather want to apply the 6-block method. Right, so what would you discard? Count the blocks. There are 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? So the 5-block method would say that choose the weakest block and cut the block, right? So if you do that, if you follow the 5-block method, what would you discard? Which one is the weakest block? E1? Or what else? 2, 3 pin? Or? So who said 2, 3 pin? Why do you think 2, 3 pin should go?
You can also use the 4 pin for the 5, 6. So it's a bit redundant. Only the 1 is really great.
Exactly. So there is an overlap in the kinds of tiles that these two proto-runs can accept, right? 4 is the one that's being captured by both of the tiles, both of the proto-runs, right? Without 5, 6, this can accept 4, or without 2, 3, this can accept 4, right? So one of the two should go, right? So the choice is between 2, 3 and 5, 6, right? And now we can utilize one of the things that I talked about in the first part, right? 1, 4 weight is the better weight, right, than 4, 7 weight, right? So you should rather keep 2, 3. So you should discard one of the two, yeah?
So we're wondering about, in such situations, whether we ever consider the 3-sided weight, which we can get with 4 pin. Are there ever situations when we...
No.
For example, when some other blocks are weak, like function weights, would we keep... Then we would keep all of this.
Yeah,
right?
if the other blocks are weak ones, then yeah, definitely keep both, even though there is an overlap. But look, all the other blocks are strong.
Yeah.
Right? You got the Dora proto-run, Dora-related proto-run. You got very strong diamond shape, and you got a pair, right? And pairs there should be 2 pairs. That's one of the tile efficiency basics that I talked about in Riichi book. So these should be kept. Choice will boil down to these guys, right? If we stick with the 5-block method, right? Discarding 6 to lock in the side weight would be something that the 6-block method would tell you, right? Because that means that we're going to keep 6 blocks for now, right? So 5-block method would say that these should go. 6-block method would say that you discard 6, right? And at the moment, at this very moment, both methods will give us the same number of tiles for tile acceptance. So there is no difference in terms of tile efficiency between this choice and this choice at this moment. For now, it doesn't matter which one to choose. But it makes a difference once we draw another tile, right? So let's first compare tile efficiency between the 5-block method and the 6-block method to see that there is no difference, right? If you discard, so this is one of the features of Tenho. There is a tool that allows you to easily calculate tile acceptance. My friend Chris Rosti is not his family name. Chris Rowe. He goes by Rosti. Right, so Rosti has written a nice English article on Mahjong Guide blog on how to use this technique, use this tool, and how to read the information shown here. Right, the URL is shown here. So anyway, so here is what it says. If you discard 6, then the hand can accept these tiles, right? 7 kinds, 28 tiles will will advance this hand, right? The hand is currently 2 shanten, 2 away from tenpai, and if you discard 6, these will improve the hand, right? If you discard 5 or 6, right? Or if you discard 5, then you get 8 kinds, but 28 tiles. Right? So either way, 28 tiles can make the hand advance from 2 away to 1 away, right? So that's what I meant when I say there is no difference in tile acceptance. There is no difference in tile efficiency, whether you choose a 6-block method or a 5-block method, right? So this is a 6-block method, whereas the next 4 discards are all 5-block methods, right? But we should choose 5, but this is also a 5-block method, right? But like I said, there will be a difference once the hand gets, once we draw another tile. Suppose we draw a Dora, Tuso, right? After we discarded 6, right? Following the 5-block method. Now what we do is obviously we're going to discard 5, right? Then the hand becomes what's called perfect 1 away, perfect Ishanten. Do you guys know the notion of perfect 1 away?
You guys always had a Yami machine?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
so the definition of it is that you have 2 pairs and 2 diamonds in the hand. It's a type of Ishanten hand, type of 1 away hand that has 2 diamonds and 2 pairs. Meaning that however the hand becomes tenpai, you can always get diamond weight, right? Notice that if you draw another 6-man, right? Then you can make this the final weight. You get diamond tenpai. And if you draw this first, you can discard 6 to make diamond weight, right? However this becomes tenpai, you will always get diamond tenpai. That's what perfect 1 away, perfect Ishanten means. So if you adopt the 5-block method, you can expect to get perfect 1 away. Perfect 1 away is more likely to be achieved if you do 5-block methods, right? Whereas if you do 6-block method, if you postpone your decision, as to which proton should be discarded at a later time, then you will have some loss in tile efficiency. Right? Suppose you draw 2, then you're gonna have to make a decision. You're gonna have to make a choice between among these 3 protons, right? Then discard 6 at later times, right? That means that the tile acceptance is now 16 tiles. Whereas if you have perfect 1 away, you got better tile acceptance, better tile efficiency, right? So there is no difference at the moment, but there will be a difference once the hand gets improved, right? So that's why most of the time we should rather just stick with the 5-block method, right? But now I'm going to talk about exceptional situations, right? Before that, I'll introduce yet another benefit. Right? If you stick with the 5-block method, there will be situations where you get to keep a safe tile. Right? Suppose you draw A, then you can discard 5, because 5 is going to be more dangerous, and keep north for now, right? Without any loss of tile efficiency, right? But if you draw 2, then you should rather discard the safe tile, right? Because to make the perfect one away, right? But at 2 away stage, you should rather have safe tile. That's another benefit: ability to make the hand perfect 1 away, and ability to keep a safe tile, right? So despite these benefits of the 5-block method, there will be exceptional situations where the 6-block method might be better. So this hand example is actually from Riichi book 1. What would you discard?
8-pin.
8-pin? There is no correct answer. So 8-pin, 3 are the candidates, right? So we're going to choose one of the 2. I mean, we're not going to discard anything else. It's either 3 or 8. So why 8? What's it? Yeah.
Well,
So
8
what?
is because of the possibility of drawing 4-pin.
4-pin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that way we can swap this with 4 or 5 saw, or 2 saw. No, 2 saw not. 4 or 5 saw to
Yeah, 2
for
is important. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So the reason why we might want to keep 3 as an isolated floating tile is the possibility of sanshaku 2, 3, 4, right? That's not the most efficient discard, right? So that's why that may not be the correct answer all the time, but that's a possibility that we might want to take into account, right? So notice that this is a perfect one-way hand without 3, right? So in terms, if you just want to maximize tile efficiency, just discard 3, because that's the most efficient. The hand will get Damen Tenpai regardless of how this becomes Tenpai, right? If you pawn 6-man, you get Damen by discarding this. If you pawn 8-pin, you get Damen here, right? If you draw here, this becomes the final way, right? But if you need points, right? For example, in South 4 and you're behind by first, I mean, if the point difference between you and first was mangan, and when you really need mangan, you want to aim for sanshaku 2, 3, 4, Tanyao Pinfu sanshaku, right? And 3 is the key for sanshaku, right? If you draw 2-pin or 4-pin next, then you keep on to discard this or this to get sanshaku, right? So there are situations where you might sacrifice tile efficiency for scores. What about now? What would you discard? So we got 6 blocks, right? 1 block here, 2 block, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the 5-block method will say choose the weakest one and get rid of it. So if you apply the 5-block method, what would you discard? 9? 9 is the pair. 9 is the head. 1? There is no 1.
6 or 7 man.
Oh, 6. Oh, you're saying man, not 1. 6 or 7 man? If you just want to maximize tile efficiency by following the 5-block method, then 2, 3 man, right? Discarding these guys is the most efficient, right? But that obviously means that we're going to lose sanshaku, right? So if you want to sacrifice efficiency and leave the possibility of sanshaku, then you might need to rely on the 6-block method and discard 7, right? Postpone your choice of protrans at later point, right? So keep all of the 6 blocks for now. And in order to do that, this is the only choice. 7 man is the only choice, right? And if you draw 5 and 8, then that's when you give up sanshaku, right? But if you draw 1, then you keep discarding this part to go for sanshaku, right? So you're postponing your choice of scores over efficiency at later point. That's what the 6-block method will allow you to do, right? You don't have to make a decision at this point. But again, by doing so, you're losing some tile efficiency. You'll lose the possibility of perfect runaway, right? Yeah, that's what I said. What about now? What would you discard? It's a really tough choice. Again, there is no single correct answer here. I mean, there are several obviously wrong answers, like discarding this. Yeah. So let's say
7 months, one of the options.
7 months. Not the ideal. So if you apply the 6-block method, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 blocks. And 6-block method says we can keep 6 blocks. If we apply 6-block method, then 6 months should go, right? We're keeping 6 blocks as they are for now, and we decide between which font file we will get at a later point. If you apply a 5-block method, which one should go? 3, 4 pin? Or you might want to make a choice between these two, right? Either one is okay. 3, 4 pin or one of the font files, right? So you're gonna have to make a choice, right? Making a choice as soon as possible is what the 5-block method will force you to do, but that comes with time efficiency benefit, right? But in a hand like this, where it's very hard to make a decision between among these attractive proto-runs, right? Then you might want to just postpone your choice for now by discarding 6. What about now? How many blocks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? 6 blocks. So we're not going to discard any pinzu. We're not going to discard a pair of 9 cell. Another block. So 1 block, 2, 3, 4. So if we stick with the 5-block method, we're going to have to make a choice between 1, 3, and 6, 8. Right? This can become Yanmen with only 1 tile, 4 or 5. Right? So they seem kind of similar to each other, right? In terms of their abilities to become Yanmen, right? But we still need to make a choice. So you can choose either 1 or 8, right? There isn't big difference between the two for now. But you're gonna have to make a choice if you stick with the 5-block method. But 6-block method will allow you to keep 6 blocks. So if you follow the 6-block method, what would you discard?
5.
Right?